said everything we had to say.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Not interested in talking. What was the title of the book?
Filthy Rich.
Filthy Rich. And so what do you think we saw happening in there today? Alan Dershowitz claims he did nothing wrong. He wants the documents unsealed.
Well, that's what he said, but I think he wants other documents, but he's told me that somebody had given him information that there was a shakedown going on, and I don't know if that's true, but...
A shakedown, like a blackmail situation?
Yeah.
So that's what we've heard that Jeffrey Epstein is all about, using this network of sex trafficking to blackmail.
No, he was told, Dershowitz was saying that somebody was trying to shake down somebody else. It wasn't Jeffery Epstein.
Uh-huh. What do you make of this whole thing with Acosta making a deal to give limited jail time to Epstein, and now he's in the Trump administration?
Well, I think Donald Trump was lazy in that he took somebody's advice and appointed this guy, but this guy couldn't. When he was appointed U.S. attorney, he had not ever tried a trial, ever. How did they get him? And why did Ken Starr become the attorney?
Kenneth Starr, the special counsel who was investigating the Clintons.
Yeah. Why would he represent somebody who was close to Bill Clinton?
Why would he? Bill Clinton seems to be very connected to Jeffrey Epstein.
No, it's got nothing to do with Bill Clinton. No. This has got to do with whatever Epstein had on Ken Starr.
Really?
Oh, of course.
So Jeffrey Epstein, it would seem, a lot of people feel he's running a network where he's just
a
gaining
creep.
influence over many people.
He's a creep. He always was. Always was. I mean, this is not new to him.
Did we learn anything today?
No.
Didn't learn anything.
I didn't know anything I didn't know.
Seemed like pretty schizophrenic demands coming from the attorney representing Mrs. Jeffery, didn't it? He wants Cernovich, he says, is an apparatchik of Professor Dershowitz.
You know, when people start getting... Here's the real story.
Yeah.
You know why Jeffrey's still walking the streets? Because people enabled him. I mean, if you were an Afro-American or a Spanish person or even an Irish person and you didn't have the money Epstein did, you'd be in prison forever.
But is it just about money or is it influence?
Well, it's money and influence. Come on. I had the money.
Where can people get your book?
Anywhere. Amazon.
What's the title of the book?
Filthy Rich.
Filthy Rich. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Good to speak with you.
Take care.
Thank you. Okay, so we're right outside this appellate court hearing that was just taking place. Matters concerning Jeffrey Epstein. We heard from lawyers for Ghislaine Maxwell, lawyers representing Alan Dershowitz, who was inside. Very, very little press coverage here. We did hear lawyers questioning the viability of Mike Cernovich's journalism, and it was interesting that Mr. Cernovich's attorney, I think his name was Mr. Randazzo, pointed out that there are no licenses for journalists in the United States, and that journalism is an activity, not necessarily a status. And he brought up the New York Times and mentioned that if credibility were a measure of journalism, the New York Times would be disqualified. That was quite interesting. So we're waiting to see if Alan Dershowitz will come outside and speak to us. Saw the lawyer for Ms. Jeffery, the alleged victim of sex trafficking by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. He left with no comment It was strange to see that most parties seem to want the documents unredacted to be released to the public. Alan Dershowitz claiming they would absolve him of any wrongdoing. Lawyer for Ms. Jeffery disagreeing with that.
It appears the court's inclined to do exactly the right thing.
And what is that?
And that is to have each document that someone wants sealed or redacted reviewed one by a judge to determine whether there's a reason to keep it from the public in part or in whole.
Do you think that this will be done?
Well, it looks like that's what's going to be done. I mean, the judge kept asking, does everybody agree except Maxwell?
And what do you think about what Maxwell's attorney said today?
It was an unusual argument. I've never heard a lawyer before say he wants to know what was in a judge's mind when a judge didn't say it. All we can go on is the record of what a judge said, not guess at what he said or what was in his mind when he said it. And when he said that this is a typical order, I've been a lawyer a long, long time. I've never seen an order like that where a judge just says to the parties, you can seal anything you want, I don't care.
Can you describe a little bit about the suggestion you made to the three?
Right, it's a process I've used in Florida a lot. We all sit down at a table with a judge and we say, how many documents? 167. So we get what document number one, what is it? It's a motion. Anybody think there's anything in there should be sealed? No. Okay, document number two, anybody think there's anything that should be sealed? Yes, there's a minor's name and address, social security number in there. Okay, we can redact those. What's next? And you go document by document. It doesn't take long at all.
And in terms of what the other parties brought forward in terms of Mr. Cernovich's argument, do you agree with his argument as well, or do you have any differences?
I think everybody in the country here has a First Amendment right of access, just like the Miami Herald. And you don't have to be from a legitimate media entity or even be a media person to have access. I think anyone does, and even a so-called slut shamer that they call him. I think everybody has a right to see what's in the court files. It's the public that's supposed to evaluate, not the press. The press is supposed to report it to the public, and they make up their own minds as to what they think about it.
And what about Mr. Dershowitz's attorneys and what they presented in terms of releasing the three documents?
I don't know what's in the three documents. They do. I just know that Ms. Jeffrey's counsel said he's mentioned in other places and not in a positive way. I have no idea if that's true or not. Mr. Dershowitz has said, he just said it. He said he hasn't done anything wrong. He never met her. He never touched her. He doesn't know of her existence until this lawsuit.
And wasn't it Mr. Cernovich's counsel who suggested that that it was a friend, a journalist, who was talking to Jeffrey, that she introduced the concept of bringing Mr. Dershowitz into it?
That's what he said.
Done nothing wrong?
I don't know anything
Was that
about
a
the
revelation?
facts.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, I have. I don't know anything about the facts. Alan Dershowitz says, I'm completely, totally innocent of all these charges. That's why he's up there challenging her to say it in public so he can sue her. So his position is, I never met her, never touched her, never did anything with her, and I have nothing to do with it. And
somewhat schizophrenic arguments from some of the parties that want documents released, weren't
I don't
there?
know. He says his position is he wants the whole file opened. His lawyer just said, I want the three I was looking for first. And I don't think they're going to do it in a sequence. I think they're all going to come in around the same time, or come out around the same time.
You happy with the outcome today?
So far. They haven't ruled yet.
Very good.
Never know.
Thank you.
Sure.
He's coming out in a minute. He's in the elevator right behind me. Sure.
Dershowitz is right there. Doesn't seem to want to speak to people very much. Let's see what he has to say. Looks like he's waiting for a car to arrive so he can avoid speaking to us.
Where's wife?
Which side do you want to go on?
Professor, how do you feel about the hearings?
Well, I was very happy with the hearings. We now know a little bit about what is in the suppressed emails. We know that in the suppressed emails...
Alan, I don't think you should be discussing this. It was on the record and it was covered in court.
Okay, it was covered in court. You should get the record. There is a record in court today which will basically show you what was in the emails. Let me make a statement, though. Okay. The emails that I hope will be released will categorically show a deliberate effort to frame me by people who knew and said they knew that I was completely innocent.
We heard today, perhaps for the first time.
Let me
He's just waiting for that.
let me just repeat that. Let me just repeat that.
Alan, go easy.
Okay. I hope the records will be quickly released. They will categorically show that Virginia Roberts Giuffre deliberately, willfully, intentionally, in a very well-planned way, decided to frame me for something she knows I didn't do. She knows that I didn't have sex with her. She knows I never met her. And the emails will show that there was a deliberate effort to frame me, to put me in her book as somebody, because I was, quote, famous, and that, in fact, when she finally did the manuscript of the book, there is no mention of me having sex with her. We know that she told her best friend, in tape, we have a tape of it, her best friend, that she didn't want to name me, that I was completely innocent, but that her lawyers pressured her into naming me. People should go to jail. I hereby challenge my accusers, to come in front of television cameras and repeat their accusations. They won't do it because they know I'll sue them. I am repeating my accusations. They committed perjury, deliberately and willfully committed perjury to frame somebody they knew was innocent. And I invite the federal government to open an investigation of me and of my accusers, and to see whose affidavits are perjurious. Robert said she had sex with me 7 times in places I never was at. I say I never met her. One of us is committing perjury. One of us belongs in prison. It's not me. But I waive all of my privileges, all of my rights. I will cooperate with the government. Let her come in and let her be investigated as well. And I think the world will see that she is hurting the Me Too movement terribly. That by making up fake stories that she knows are fake for purposes of making money, she hurts every single victim, real victim of sexual abuse. And there are many, many such victims of sexual abuse who have to be believed. But when you have somebody like that who essentially admits that she knows I didn't do it, but she's going to name me anyway to make money, that really, really undercuts the Me Too movement and the rights of people who have been sexually abused.
Professor Dershowitz, you referred to accusers plural. Obviously, some people that don't follow this case closely might say, well, if a second woman has come forward also accusing Dershowitz, where there's smoke, there's fire. What would you say to folks that think that?
Where there's smoke, there's arson. What happened in this case, the same lawyers put the same women up to it. The second woman who accused me tried to go to the New York Post, claiming she had sex tapes of Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and Richard Branson. And the New York Post, page 6, said, obviously, we don't believe a word of that. She has no credibility. But David Boies submitted her affidavit, knowing that she didn't even pass the standards of page 6 of the New York Post, but somehow it passes David Boies' standards for submitting an affidavit. Once people see the emails, once people see her emails and information, you will understand that 2 false accusers are worse than 1 false accuser, because it shows that the same lawyers were involved in the false accusations.
Do you support the unsealing of all the documents?
Everything. Not only that, but I want to be clear. I waive any right to redact my own name. Let them put forth any document with my name. I absolutely waive any right. I will not redact my name. Let them accuse me. It's false accusations. I want everything out, especially these emails, the manuscript, and the emails from the second accuser.
What can you say about the leniency that's been shown to Jeffrey Epstein and the subsequent...
I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the emails. I'm here to talk about my innocence. I'm not here representing anybody. I'm here representing myself.
If the court decides that some documents should be released and others should be still kept under seal, or things should be released in part, do you have any objection to that? You don't mind?
I want
You do?
everything out.
Okay.
I would like everything out. I want every piece of paper, every document out. Let the public judge. Let prosecutors look at all the evidence and judge also who should be prosecuted. This is the beginning, not the end. I will not be satisfied until Virginia Roberts, Virginia Gouffre, goes to prison for deliberate, willful perjury. That's where she belongs. She hurts the Me Too movement. She hurt me. She deliberately, willfully accused me of something she knows I didn't do.
Do you have any comment about the statements attempting to link Mike Cernovich to you as some sort of apparatchik?
Total lie. Let me be very clear. Cassell lied to the court by telling them that I put Cernovich up to it. I don't know him. I think I've met him once. I was not aware that he was filing any of this. I wasn't happy with it. And Cassell stood in front of the court, looked the court in the eye, and lied through his teeth.
You mentioned this being very hurtful. Was today one of the most difficult days of your professional career?
No, today was a very good and easy day. I have my wife standing next to me. I had the court seeming to be open, at least to the possibility of opening up the records. That's what I want. I want the records to be open.
But it's not painful to listen to Judge Cassell repeat these claims over and over rather than retreat from them?
When you hear an absolute liar lie in court, let him repeat them to you. He won't repeat them to you. He won't say to you, Alan Dershowitz had sex with X and Y. He won't say that because he knows that I'll sue him and I'll win. He only says it in court. He's a coward. He's a coward and he's a liar.
Did you ever travel to Little St. James Island?
With my wife, when the island first opened, my wife, my daughter, and
not
I,
during the time that
well
was in
before any of these things happened, well before he ever met Virginia Roberts, we stayed one night with Michael Porter, the professor at Harvard, who came to dinner with us, his wife. There were no young women or anybody on the island except a woman in her 30s and somebody who was taking care of the house. That was the only time I was ever there. I never flew on his plane there. I never participated in any activities on the island or anywhere else with Jeffrey Epstein. Never, 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 under any circumstances.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And there you have it. First-hand testimony
from Alan Dershowitz regarding Jeffrey Epstein Island here at 40 Foley Square, New York City. Thanks for watching, everybody.